Hi everyone, I'm Edward Barnes, and this is Songbook Shorts. Blowin' in the Wind is probably the most well-known song that Bob Dylan ever wrote. And while he definitely wrote 100% of the lyrics, what you may not know is he didn't write 100% of the tune. In this video, I'm going to show you where the original tune came from and how Bob Dylan used it to create his song. Bob Dylan learned how to write songs from the legendary Woody Guthrie. Woody's method of creating new songs was to take an old song and repurpose it, like the old gospel tune World's on Fire, which Woody repurposed to become This Land Is Your Land. So Bob Dylan did the same thing. In fact, one of the first songs Bob ever wrote, Song to Woody, is Bob's repurposing of a Woody Guthrie song, which in turn was Woody's repurposing of an old Irish ballad. And it's this approach, taking an old song and repurposing it into something new, that Bob Dylan was using when he sat down in early 1962 to create new material for his second album on Columbia Records. Bob had a song in his head that he'd been singing in the Greenwich Village folk clubs, one that he'd learned from the great Odetta, and it went like this. No more auction block for me. No more, no more. No more auction block for me. Many thousands gone. No More Auction Block is an African-American song from the 1830s, said to have been sung by slaves escaping to freedom. And as Bob is working this song through, he begins to develop an idea for a new song. For his new song, he wants each verse to ask a series of 3 rhetorical questions, and each chorus to respond, that the answers to all are somewhere out there, blowing in the wind. So he's thinking auction block. No more auction block for me. And he writes, how many roads must a man walk down? But his rhetorical question is longer than just those first 2 bars of auction block, so to continue, he repeats the music a couple more times. Before you can call him a man, and how many seas must the white dove sail? Then he takes the next 2 bars of auction block. No more, no more, and writes, before she sleeps in the sand. For his third rhetorical question, he takes the third 2 bars of auction block and uses them the same way he did before to build out his line. Yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? And then, right here, right now, for the chorus, Bob Dylan does something kind of magical. Instead of using auction block to create new material for his song, he breaks out of the mold and composes new music of his very own. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. That's it. Just those 2 bars right there. And then he goes back to auction block and takes the last 2 bars of that song, many thousands gone, and uses it to wrap up his own tune. The answer is blowing in the wind. When you put it all together, you can see his weaving. He starts with the first 2 bars of auction block, repeats that music, then repeats it again, then the second 2 bars of auction block, then the third 2 bars of auction block, repeats it again, then Bob Dylan, original music. then wraps it up with the last two bars of Auction Block. Bob Dylan freely admitted that he constructed Blowin' in the Wind from No More Auction Block. He said he was trying to take the spiritual nature of the original and turn it into something spiritual of his own, and he did. But what's really neat about the song is that not only do you get to see Dylan using Woody Guthrie's method of repurposing an old song to create something new, but you get to see Dylan for the very first time create new music that's truly his own. And it's those two things that make Blowin' in the Wind not only an extraordinary song, but an extraordinary window into the early craftsmanship of the legendary songwriter Bob Dylan would become.